one piece of advice to get to where I am. Make a move. I mean, honestly and truly. And that it could be so simple and it could sound trivial, but from just what I see online, and people hit me up now. Like, I'm no bees, but I be having people hit me in my inbox like, I want to get into tech. How do I do this?
Yeah.
How do I do that? And it's like, that's a great start, but I feel like if you haven't even already figured out what part of tech even interests you, you're not really serious.
Yep.
I feel like if you haven't even done a little research to figure out what the role it entails, you're not really serious. Like, I could tell you what role to go do, but if it's not something that even fits your personality, your character, I'm sending you where?
Right, yeah.
So it's just like, make a move. Like, before you go and ask somebody how to do something, before you try to connect with somebody to figure something out, I'm where I am because I'm a self-starter. Tech is a self-starting thing. Like,
if you look at the job descriptions, they all usually say self-starter. That's why I tell people, I'm like, if you look at a lot of the tech roles, a lot of it is just soft skills.
That's it.
People like, you got to be a self-starter. Yep.
Exactly.
Self-starter, be able to work with other people, collaborate, and then you'll see all the like technical skills.
Exactly.
Welcome back to another episode of Day in My Tech Life. My name is Simone B, also known as Bees, and today we have a special guest. This is Tavette Lazenby. She is actually a system engineer currently and looking to transition into more of a PM role.
As
so
we speak.
Yeah. I've known you for a long time on Twitter.
Years now. Some years.
Yeah, it's been
kind of like overdue a little bit.
Nah, for real, definitely. So definitely welcome. Excited to have you here on the series today. So first, I always like to know, like, where are you from and how did you, like, what made you want to get into tech?
Well, for starters, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I've been here, I want to say almost like 7 years now. Tech kind of just chose me. It was like somehow I became the kid in the family that any tech issues, my mom, my grandma, sisters, everybody, they came to me for it. Like anything, hooking the TV up or fixing the VCR, you know, the little petty things that you really don't even think is tech related.
Yeah.
But you know, growing up, I just dived more into the electronics, anything computer related, software related. It just always drew an interest to me. But oddly enough, I started out with music. I thought I was going to be like this big rapper. That dream got thrown out quickly. So from there, I actually went into music business. I went to school for music business and started, working with different artists. And I realized that was like a big part that a lot of the artists was missing, like the online marketing and the digital branding. So the artists that I work with, I started doing like their websites and things of that nature. And I kind of realized like, well, I like doing this.
Yeah.
So on top of that, they were kind of cheap. I don't know if y'all know it, but these rappers, they don't like to spend their money unless it's like on studio time. So
studio time, chains, cars, all that kind of stuff.
That really don't matter. So I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work. leave the artists alone. So I transitioned and started doing websites for small businesses.
Okay.
And I did that for a while, just kind of like on a hobby level, I would say. But then I started seeing, I'm getting a nice response. People like my websites. So I started doing more sites. Fast forward to like COVID time, COVID area. I started seeing your tweets and I'm like, okay, I'm already like kind of in the tech space. There's good money in this space. Clearly it's something I should probably take a little bit more serious. And that's what I did. So, opportunities just started sliding past my timeline. And one day I saw there was a tweet for City of Refuge here in Atlanta. And it was from the Atlanta Journal, whatever, the little AJC thing.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Tanika who had tweeted it.
Shout out to Tanika.
Shout out to Tanika, yes.
Yep.
Yes, much love. I saw it. I thought it was kind of scammy because the tweet just looked real generic. Well, I was like, okay, what what can I lose? I don't have nothing that anybody can scam or take from me right now. Like, if you want my credit, good luck, you know? So I went ahead and I clicked on it. I'm like, okay, this looks like a real cheap Google form, but let me go ahead, put my info in. And I want to say maybe like 2-3 weeks later, I got a call from Digital Crafts. And took me by surprise. I was actually driving at the time. So I'm, listening to the lady like, this can't be real. So she's like, okay, well, we're going to send you some more information and, see if you could get past the assessment and things. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. So she sent it. I passed the assessment, got it, pulled into the class. Awesome. And then from there, it's like my tech journey just kind of took off. I was not expecting the results that I received. I was not expecting the timeline that I received. Honestly, I just have to give all my thanks to God. I promise you, the lady called me probably like May. The program started, I want to say June. Probably by September, I was getting recruited by the job I'm working with now.
But what did the program teach you specifically? What was it about?
So I went to learn web development.
Okay.
So
it's like a web development boot camp.
Yes, it was a boot camp.
And what, it was
very
free
accelerated. Though? Yes, it was free.
Yeah.
At the time they were offering a cyber course in web dev. I figured since I'm already doing websites, I have, some transferable skills I could bring over here. I wasn't like the best coder, but I knew a little bit of HTML. I knew a little bit of CSS. So okay, boom, I'm in now, and I'm faced with this JavaScript. I'm like, oh my God. Don't let nobody tell you that's easy, because it's not.
The coding is,
no,
it get crazy.
It could get wicked, okay? So the program that I got into, we were the first part-time class. Okay. So you could call us like the test dummy crew. From my knowledge, we were the first and last part-time class. That should tell you all you need to know about how that class went. But for what it's worth, I got what I needed out of it. I got my job. I got recruited. I never even had to apply.
Oh, wow.
Literally, they would bring people in, different companies. You would meet these people. You would present yourself. You may get something from it. You may not. They brought in a company. I won't mention the name. You got haters online.
Yep.
Don't need that. But I will say, it's a very prominent company. Everybody may not be familiar with the name, but people definitely know who they are. They manage globally commodities, different exchanges, probably handling your money. You might not know. So we do a lot. We do a lot in the financial space, also mortgage, data space, different sectors. Huge company. But I say that to say, I wasn't the most technical savvy person in the class. I would probably say, I would give myself probably like 50-50. if just being honest.
Yeah.
But as far as like showing up in the class with a mission, with a point to prove to myself, a goal ahead, and keeping my eyes on the prize, and just knowing who I am and what I actually have to offer, I was able to maneuver that, and was the first person in my class to get my job.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
It is, because they recruited me while I was still in the boot camp.
Yeah.
So I got recruited in September, started in October, and graduated in January. So I was doing the boot camp and learning all the new things at
work.
Yeah,
exactly. You were working full time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I like that, because I think what people need to realize is that maybe some of these programs you get into, they might not be all the way perfect, right?
Exactly.
But it's about you showing up, putting in the work,
exactly,
taking whatever it is that they give you, and then going with it.
Exactly. And I couldn't have said it any better. Nothing's perfect, especially anything that you're gonna get free. Okay, yeah. We'll start there. It was a free program, so I couldn't complain too much. Any type of gripes that I had, I spoke up for myself. I mentioned them, but at the same time, I could have harped on what wasn't going right, and been left out, and been no shade to nobody else in the class, but nobody else got the job before me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just really, like you said, showing up and focusing on your goal and the prize at hand for yourself is very helpful. And like I said, I thank God now. So I had a goal in my mind, like if they offer me anything below this, I don't care, new or not, I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
So I won't say what I'm making now,
Yeah.
but I came in making right at 70
Yeah.
for my first position.
For your first position?
Yeah. And
so you went from how much, you were making what before you got this?
So before that, I was probably like right around like 40,000, give or take.
Yeah.
That's combining my business and employment.
Yeah.
So, you know, even with that, I still had like a minimum. Like, I'm coming in this tech space. I know it's money over here. I'm not taking anything below this.
Yeah.
And they looking at me in the class crazy, like.
That's what I preach online.
Who are you to be picky? And I'm like, I'm not going below this. Like, you can, I'm not. So, ironically enough, they met me right where I wanted to be met.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take it. I got started, you know, the first couple of months was just like the training, the videos, the sitting there really trying to figure out, like, am I doing something wrong, not doing anything?
Yeah.
But once I got past that space, I actually came right in time for bonuses and all that.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that's the best.
Exactly.
When you start a new tech job and they be like, yo, you getting bonuses next month. Oh, really?
I ain't did nothing.
Haven't done anything yet. Get a bonus already?
Exactly. So, within those few months, I came in at 70. They gave me a bonus, and I got my raise. Cool. So
Nice.
I'm grateful. We just came like the end of last year. Another bonus, got my raise. So, you know, I'm inching my way up. I'm not quite at six figures
You're
yet.
going to be there soon, though.
Exactly.
Yep,
Exactly.
yep.
And like I said, you know, I started in, you know, with the web dev, but just really being open-minded and being open to what came to me landed me the systems engineer job. So now I'm looking to transition to PM, like we mentioned.
Okay.
And I'm expecting my six figures to hit around that mark.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. If you want to get into like PM work, that PMP certification is golden.
Absolutely. So that's my goal for the end of this year, by the end of this year, to obtain that. So right now I'm just kind of like collecting all the free certs I can, all the free knowledge training that I can, to kind of help me build up to that point.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So, when you started this role and, you know, you went through the boot camp, for people who want to get into web development, right? Like, what type of skills do you think they need to focus on to get either a web development job or maybe even like freelance projects, like how you were doing?
Well, one thing I would say is start doing it on your own. In my opinion, you know, before you start looking to do a boot camp or to pay for any type of training, see if this is actually something that you would like to do. There's so many different platforms that you could just sign up on and start doing websites for free. And then once you get past, you know, the design aspect of it, if you want to dig into the back end and get into coding, then start, you know, utilizing the online materials and really like see if this is something that you're interested in versus wasting your time and then figuring out, okay, I don't like this. You can figure that out on your own before you even start making a decision to move forward, you know?
Right. Yeah, and some of the like free places like Free Code Camp.
Exactly. Udemy, Free Code Camp.
Yeah.
You got, what's the other one aside from Free Code Camp? It's a Black-owned community that they have. I have to send the name to you, but it's so many different communities that you could get in. That offer support.
100 Devs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
100 Devs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shout out to them at 100
Exactly.
Devs.
So my main thing that I push, you know, to get involved in these communities, like the support is going to be there. You might not get the support that you need at your first job or your second job just because they let you in the door. Don't mean that they're going to give you the support that you feel like you need or that you're looking for. So it's good to be connected in the community, to be able to reach out to different people in different positions that understand what you've been through or understand what you're going through and can give you some type of advice to help you out.
Yeah, definitely. So what skills like for web developers right now should like main people focus on? I know there's like React. I know
you got,
obviously HTML,
exactly.
CSS.
One of the main languages that we were learning aside from Java was Python.
Okay.
I would mention that because aside from what we were learning in the class, I probably took maybe 30% out of the class to my actual job. And that might be being
generous. Yeah.
You know, like the command line, getting familiar with that. Python, that's like one thing that I do use at work. Other than that, I'm not really using HTML at work. I'm not really using too much JavaScript. I'm not really using CSS. But if you learn a language that's pretty transferable for different fields, different positions, I think that'd be your best bet. Because I was able to take the Python experience that I gained in the boot camp, even though it was very short, and transfer it to my current job.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think when you're first learning anything new, you should be open to learning new things. And then especially like, because Python is used all across all industries, like so many different use cases. You know, it's a great language to learn.
And I'm starting to see a lot more like C++ popping up as well. So I actually did like a C++ and Kotlin course.
Oh yeah.
C++ is actually not as hard to learn once you start learning other languages. So, you know, I would say just kind of find one that you're more comfortable with, and it will help you learn the other ones a lot easier.
Definitely. Yeah, I got thrown into C++ and and C# when I graduated. So yeah, I graduated. We did Java for all 4 years of our degree.
Exactly. Okay.
We did Java all 4 years, and then came in and I went into the interview and they're like, yeah, we do C++ here. And I'm like, I've never seen it before. And then got in there, and then next you know, I'm writing code for radars, and I'm like, this is like way above. Like it was an adjustment, but like definitely, like I tell people all the time, like when you learn how to code and you actually like understand the concepts behind you know, how everything works, that is when it's like every single coding language is like learning a new language. But the only differences really are like syntax differences. Those are the main differences. But outside of that, once you understand how syntax works, you're pretty much good to go. Yeah, you could pick up pretty much any language.
And even just touching on that, because I know just from what I see online, a lot of people feel like coding is like the bread and butter, the end all be all of tech. Like, it's good to know how to code. It's great. Yeah. Good money. But it's not the end all be all. Like, you don't have to be the best coder.
Nope.
You don't even have to know how to code to be in this field.
Nope.
Like I said, I wasn't the best coder in my class. Right. I wasn't. But it was something that I did. It was something about me that put me in the best position before everybody else.
Yeah.
So, you know, really just my thing that I really want to bring to the community, to the tech community, is letting people know that focus on yourself. Focus on who you are, know who you are, and figure out what you want to do and go and get it. If I was like all shy and timid, because I'm a shy person, honestly and truly, like this, I'd rather not. Honestly and truly. But I could be comfortable and broke, or I could be uncomfortable and paid. You know
okay, yeah, that's a bar.
Really getting uncomfortable with complacency, being shy, being scared, not wanting to speak up, not wanting to be first. Be that person. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself in the best space, put your best foot forward. When my job came, but when they came at the time, they were my job. But when they came to speak to the class. And as soon as it was over, you know, they took us back to the class to start a class. Everybody went back. I was like one of the only two people that was like, okay, I'm gonna catch y'all in 5-10 minutes. Yeah, I'll catch y'all later. I stayed. I asked questions. I talked to them and just presented myself, you know, to show peak interest. And at the time, that was my first time hearing about this company. I didn't know nothing about these people, but it sounded interesting. So whatever I did, whatever I said, the next day, I had a recruiter in my inbox on LinkedIn reaching out saying, you know, hey, the guy from the panel, he wanted me to reach out to you, see if you was interested, you know, in speaking with him further.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, if I would have just followed the crowd.
Everybody left early.
If I'd have just did what I was supposed to do, go back to class to begin class, you know, I would have missed my opportunity. So, you know, sometimes when God tells you to move, go ahead and make your move and let everything else work out for you. So that's just kind of how I move in tech and life, period. Yeah. I don't always have the answers. I don't even know if I'm going to get to the right answer all the time, but I'm going to get somewhere. Yeah. And I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do when I get there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't feel like there's not no road that I can't do. Yeah, no, exactly. I've realized that coming from a space where I was learning web dev and now I'm doing systems engineer work. Yep. They taught me everything that I needed to learn once I got in there. So now I'm doing the work, and it's a constant learning every day. Like sometimes I'm working with people that still don't have the answer, and they was there before me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. Everybody's not going to always have the answers. You're not going to always have the answers. But if you could research, you could find, you could contribute something to your team, you're valuable.
Yep, exactly. I think people overthink kind of like what is going to make them valuable to a company.
Exactly.
And it's that you have that like drive in you to find the answer, to figure it out.
Exactly.
Maybe you don't have it. Maybe your teammate doesn't have it, but
Exactly.
you're going to keep working at it. And you're not just going to be like, well, couldn't find it, so I'm about to just sit back and relax and not do nothing for the next 3 months because I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest thing that hurts new people coming into tech or a new role in general as a junior engineer or a junior tech person.
Yeah.
Is that they're too afraid to reach out for help.
Exactly.
Right? Because if you're somebody who's just going to sit there and let your tires spin for months and months and months, exactly, and you're not going to actually reach out and try to get help to move forward.
Exactly.
You're not going to be helpful to the company at all.
Exactly. So that's like one of my super strengths. For one, I'm not afraid to say I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to go and find the answer.
Yeah.
However, I got to get to it.
Definitely. So what's your typical day-to-day like now as a system engineer?
Very boring.
Okay.
It's very boring.
Yeah.
It's not one of those roles that it's exciting.
Yeah.
But it's supportive. What I say is like we're like the superheroes of the company.
Okay.
Any type of problems come through, they kind of hit our desk first. Mm-hmm. We try to resolve them. If it's not something that we resolve, we forward them to another team. We do a lot of admin work, a lot of server support. One of my favorite things, I like to do a lot of the deployments.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I love doing deployments. But other than that, it's just basically technical support for a global company. So whatever issue that they're having from here to India, we're going to support them.
Yeah.
My role actually, just last year we transitioned to like a follow the sun. So technically we're 24 hours. I don't work 24 hours, but when we go off, we're global. So whoever's in the next country, they're coming right on behind us.
Yeah.
When they go off, we got somebody coming right on behind them, and then we're right back on. So we basically keep the wheels rolling of the business. I like to feel like if we don't show up, the whole building will collapse kind of without us, we keep everything going.
Yeah, definitely. So how is that different from the web developer role that you came into at first when you first started with this company? Like, how was that day-to-day like? Yeah.
Very different. Web dev is kind of like fulfilling. You get to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
The visuals, the aesthetics, the pretty, you get it all like right there. You can see the fruits of your labor kind of like in real time. But systems engineer work, you don't really get to see, your productivity.
Yeah.
You can see your ticket queue piling up and how many tickets you knocked off. I'm the most productive on my team too. Shout out to me, by the way. Still new, haven't hit my 2 years yet, but the most productive. But it's just not as fulfilling.
Yeah.
If you're a person that likes to actually see what you're doing and see your growth, then web dev would probably be a better position than systems engineering. But when you're putting out these fires and then everybody's like, yeah, thanks, that was great, good. And you're like, okay, good job.
Yeah.
So it's like you find little ways to find your fulfillment and, find the enjoyment of what you do. Like just recently they had some deployment issues, and of course the documentation didn't have the problem on there. So I'm sitting there like, okay, what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like figuring it out and just kind of researching and digging back, and I found the issue, and it was something so minute, and they was just so happy, like, okay, yes, we could deploy it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I saved the day.
Yeah.
And then, throw my cape on.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's very boring. So if I didn't like just find the little things to make me smile and go on about my day, it'd just be like, I'm just collecting a check. But you got to find little things that kind of just resonate with you and keep you going.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, like, a lot of people act like you have to want to change the world to work in tech. and you have to be like the most super technical person to work in tech. And that's not the case, right? At the end of the day, it is a job, and your main goal is to make sure you're doing a good job
Exactly.
at the job, right?
Exactly.
It's not trying to like change the world and stuff
Exactly.
like that if that's not a part of your role.
Exactly.
So, you know, what you're doing is definitely important for sure. So while you're in this role now, right, as a system engineer, like where do you see yourself going? Like, actually, no, I want to take it back a little bit. Like what made you want to go from a web developer to doing the system engineer work? Like, how'd that opportunity even come up?
So, when these companies, when they bring these businesses to speak, with you at City of Refuge, they know what you're learning. They know your skill set that you're there for. They know what you don't know. So when I got recruited, they were very well aware that I was there for web dev, and I had no idea, about what they had going on. But the opportunity came, and it was just kind of like one of those things. They met my minimum, and it was just like, who am I to turn down this opportunity? Am I going to continue to turn jobs down until I find a job in the web dev space? And it's like, absolutely not. I'm not about to turn down 70 bands to do some websites, So I took the job, and it's cool. Like, I'm glad I took it. It's helped me get where I am, just even in the mind frame. Like, I'm not doing coding. So, like, that skill set is not growing right now if it's not something I'm actively practicing outside of work on my own. I don't touch code at work too often. If I do, I'm like updating the code or modifying the code, pushing. It's just like simple things. But like I said, just being open-minded in this space, you really don't, it's so many different sectors that you could really fall in, land in, work your way towards, that I just feel like, I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't feel like if I wasn't supposed to be a systems engineer at this time, I wouldn't be a systems engineer at this time. Just like me trying to transition to project management, I'll be a PM when it's time for me to be a PM.
Right.
And, that's just kind of how I just try to move. If I try to control my controllables, but I also let God do what God does in my life.
Right.
And, we don't always know his plans. Our plans don't always align. Sometimes we might have one idea, boom, you got a better idea. So, I just kind of stay open-minded and just move with the flow.
Yeah, definitely. So throughout your career so far, with like different ups and downs and challenges that you face, how did you overcome like those challenges that you might have faced in your career?
Honestly, I'm I'm a Leo, so I'm like a fire sign.
Yeah.
You know about it.
Yeah, we Leos.
I'm going to grab the bull by the horns
Yeah.
type of person. I get sad. I get down. Depression might try to hit, but I can't sit in it. I can't wallow in it too long. That's just not a comfortable space for me. So, as problems arise, I don't try to run from them or hide from them. I try to run at them head on. It's going to collide or it's going to collapse or I'm going to collapse.
Yeah.
But we're going to collide either way.
Yeah.
So, I can't give anybody that drive, but I could just encourage them to push forward regardless of what comes. You have to be resilient. And if that's not a trait that you have, then I strongly suggest to figure out why you don't. What is it that you might be missing or, lacking, or what has maybe triggered you in your life to where you just give up? Because some people don't have that. And I understand that, but I do feel like it's something that everybody can obtain. Once you shift your mindset, it's not a can do, it's a will do type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if you fail, you still gonna do it.
Right. Exactly.
And that's just kind of where I am in life. I'm applying to anything I see. If it's an opportunity, I'm on it. If it's something I feel like I need to be a part of, I'm on it. I'm in it. So it's just, don't hold yourself back.
Yeah. You had came out when we had our first comeback, Blacks in Tech ATL,
Sure
man. You was right there. You was like, yep, I'm coming.
That was our first time meeting.
Yeah, that was our first time meeting face to face. Yeah,
and
but I
since then, I haven't stopped. Funny story. I'm actually going to Cali next month. All expense paid trip by one of the tech communities. to the Google I/O conference.
Oh yeah.
So, I wouldn't have got that opportunity if I didn't show up, if I didn't apply. Like, shout out to those Google forms. When you see them, don't be afraid of them. It's something behind them, So, just really put your best self forward and get out of your own way. That's kind of the space where I am right now. Like, everything else I got. Nobody can really hold me back the way that I hold myself back. So really just keying in on my star qualities and my star player and allowing it to shine.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to downplay yourself. You don't have to, try to minimize, to not do too much. Like, by nature, I'm a Leo. I'm going to do too much.
Right.
So, and that's okay. That's okay.
You know that one clip with Lil Uzi?
Which one?
The one he in a car with JT on like live or something, and she like, why you gotta do the most? He was like, that's who I am. I always do the most. I'm a Leo. Like, that's what I do. I just do the most.
Do the most. And I mean, going back to the boot camp, if I didn't do the most, I wouldn't have got my role. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, embrace yourself.
Facts.
Embrace yourself. Just embrace it in ways that's a positive and not a negative. I could do the most and be doing the most negatively, but I'm taking my do the most and making the most of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. So since you've been in tech, how has tech changed your life and your family's life?
Great question. So I'm not in the high rise, I'm not gonna stunt and flex like that, like bees. But it has changed my life drastically. I had a nice little apartment here in Atlanta, but I've moved up to a nice townhome.
I like that.
I came from a closet to a bigger space.
I like that.
I got a 2024, parked at my crib.
I
it's
like
cool.
that. Yeah.
I see my mom a lot more now. I travel. I get to see my family a lot
They're
more
back
now.
in Detroit still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, before, money was kind of tight, traveling back and forth. It was hard.
Yeah.
But I see my family a lot more now. I send gifts. They're grateful. I just sent my sister an edible arrangement yesterday. Surprised her. She loved it. Yeah.
Look at
happy
you.
birthday. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
So it's cool to show up for your family and your friends and the people you love. I take my friends out. I trick on them. I wine and dine them. Get whatever you want. It's cool. It's And I can't say that I wasn't doing that before the money.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a Leo. I'm going to do the most. I'm going to show up and show out every time.
Yeah.
But now I can do it and not worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I done overspent. And they don't know this.
Yeah.
This that came out of this. Like, no,
Right.
Everything is everywhere. Bills paid. Life is good.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, tech can definitely be life-changing,
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Definitely could be life-changing. So if you could give the people one piece of advice to get to where you are today, what would it be?
One piece of advice to get to where I am. Make a move. I mean, honestly and truly. And that it could be so simple and it could sound trivial, but from just what I see online, and people hit me up now. Like, I'm no bees, but I be having people hit me in my inbox like, I want to get into tech. How do I do this?
Yep.
How do I do that? And it's like, that's a great start, but I feel like if you haven't even already figured out what part of tech even interests you, you're not really serious.
Yep.
I feel like if you haven't even done a little research to figure out what the role entails, you're not really serious. Like, I could tell you what role to go do, but if it's not something that even fits your personality, your character, I'm sending you where?
Right, yeah.
So it's just like, make a move. Like, before you go and ask somebody how to do something, before you try to connect with somebody to figure something out, I'm where I am because I'm a self-starter. Tech is a self-starting thing. Like,
if you look at the job descriptions, they all usually say self-starter. That's why I tell people,
Exactly.
I'm like, if you look at a lot of the tech roles, a lot of it is just soft skills.
That's it.
You be like, you got to be
And
a
I got plenty of
self-starter.
those.
Yep.
Exactly.
Self-starter, be able to work with other people,
Exactly.
collaborate, and then you'll see all the like technical skills.
Exactly. So I would definitely say make a move for yourself. Get your gears rolling and grinding on your own, and then people will be more prone and inclined to help. And aside from making a move, really know what you want to do and who you are. Like, this doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to be so deep. Like, this is probably the most life-changing decision I could have made for myself. So make a decision and make a move and stick to it. One thing that I did learn in City of Refuge, I take this everywhere. Shout out to Mr. McQueen. Keep the main thing the main thing. Like, regardless of what's going on, you know what you're trying to do. Like, you could have several interferences, several speed bumps, roadblocks, but as long as you keep the main thing, and you continue to push forward, fail forward, you're going to get to it. So, by doing that, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Just keep the main thing, keep your goal to goal, and push forward every day.
I like that. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. You dropped a lot of bars and a lot of gems. You did.
I was like, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna say this.
No.
My goal was not to be like so deep and so boring and profound and all that.
No.
I just wanted to keep it real with the people.
Yeah, hey, you gotta keep it real with them. So where can the people find you at? Where can they follow you? LinkedIn, things like that. Whatever you want to share with them.
I am on all social medias. Who is Teezy? Teezy. Who is spelled just like you would spell it. Who is Teezy? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't really be over there too often, but you could find me there too. I'll keep my LinkedIn separate. If you hit me up on the side, I'll shoot my LinkedIn out. But you can pretty much catch me on Twitter, dropping some gems and sometimes just showing out. I like to have fun. I'm not a robot in tech, so every time you see me, I'm not going to be talking about tech.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about tech 24 hours of the day.
Yeah, it is no need to.
It's not.
It does, like, I talk about tech, but, like, I make my videos, but, like, it's not, like, all day, every day. And then sometimes they like, oh, you didn't put out something about tech. This not about... Why I got to talk about tech 24/7? Like, I shouldn't have to talk about tech on command for you.
Exactly. People get so used to, like, one thing.
Yeah.
I don't... That's one thing I'm trying not to do. I don't ever want nobody to put me in no box.
Yeah, I cannot be boxed in.
Do not box me in.
I hate when people try to box me in.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't be boxed in. I'm a free spirit. You know, I like to encourage, motivate. If you see me, you pull up the render. I'll be there if you want to link up, meet up.
Okay.
You gonna come to render?
I need to get my ticket still.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I need to get my ticket.
Shout out to Render. They made me honorary, whatever. I'm a Render scholar and I'm a brand ambassador this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm in that
Turn
thing
it up.
twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's all from signing up and showing up.
Yeah.
You know, if you see something, an opportunity, go for it.
You got to fully immerse yourself.
Absolutely.
I tell people that all the time.
Absolutely.
Like, you need to go to the different networking events,
Absolutely.
go to the conferences, and you can get scholarships for conferences, just like Tavette did. Like,
Absolutely.
Google, they sponsor other people's conferences all the time.
Absolutely.
And all you got to do is fill out a form and apply, and if you
And
get
that's
it, they'll give you a scholarship to go to conferences. But if you aren't here showing up to different networking events, mixers, conferences that are in your town, even the virtual events and like Twitter Spaces,
Exactly.
and they even go live on LinkedIn now.
Yes, they do.
If you aren't doing any of those things, you're not
for real.
you're not serious, and you're not fully immersing yourself inside of this industry.
Exactly.
So make
See,
sure
I
you're
did
doing
all
that.
of those things before I started like reaching out to anybody. Before I even ever talked to you online in person, like I read what you said and I followed the procedures.
Yep.
Tanika put something out, I read what she say, I follow the procedures. Like, you have to want this enough to where if nobody's going to tell you how, you're going to figure it out. And if that's not something that you can do or want to do or think that's in you, then maybe tech might not be the space, you know? Because honestly, I don't know no job that wants somebody that they have to handhold.
That's a bar, and we could just wrap it up right there, because
Yeah,
I could talk about that for a long
I don't know
time.
anybody that...
Yes,
you know,
please
so-
make sure you are being like taking the initiative. You don't want
Exactly.
anybody to handhold you. So there's so much information out there. Apply it. Listen to everything that everybody's saying,
Exactly.
and just keep going, keep working towards it. So, so make sure you go follow Tavette on
All of them.
all the platforms.
I ain't fake. I reach back out. I follow back.
Yes.
I communicate.
Yep.
I engage.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you see me in the streets, holler at me. I'll talk back.
Definitely. So thank you so much for coming
Thank you
out.
for
I
having me.
appreciate you, Tavette. And that wraps up another episode of Day in My Tech Life. My name is Simone B, also known as Bees. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. See you on the next one. We out.